Good morning, hello. It is me. It is Saturday and it's the 22nd of April, and I am in another location again. We're not at home, as you can see, there is no bag post. Um, and I am actually in somewhere called South Queensferry, I think, which is near Edinburgh because we're having a family get together, which is lovely, seeing my mum and dad and my daughter. Not my son, because he's staying at home to revise, which is very noble and good of him. No, in fact, very important because he's got an exam next week. And he finished school yesterday. Um, and I'm feeling, I don't know, I'm feeling, not really feeling a lot. I just think I'm feeling a bit numb about it all because it's a big thing for both children to have done their secondary education and that's it. So he has exams and then who knows what comes next, university, hopefully. But yeah, and then obviously being with my mum and dad today, and then makes you reflect on when you were at that stage and how life's gone since. And of course, a week ago I was in Sarajevo, and when I made my video, I was about to go off and visit Srebrenica, which is the place that in the Bosnian conflict of the 90s, in 1996, I'm going to say, but towards the end of the conflict, there was a final push for ethnic cleansing, and around 8,000 Muslim men and boys were murdered in a horrific act of genocide. And we went to visit the memorial, and I don't know really what to say because there are no words really that can summarize um, learning about that and what happened. It was the most incredible day. It was heartbreaking, and yet there was this sense of, I just felt incredibly emotional, but also felt this sense of it's not my emotions. It's about supporting and learning and hearing the voices of the people who were affected. And what we did was we spoke to people who had been affected and who had been alive at that time, because we're only talking 30 years ago in the middle of Europe. Um, but yeah, so following on from that, sort of came home on Sunday and then straight back into work on Monday. And again, it's been a really hard week at school because in both schools, staffing issues, post-COVID burnout issues, pupils still just struggling to be like children used to be, I think. But all that then within a kind of um, having had that experience of being in a country where, it wasn't a pandemic, it wasn't, as one of the people I met said, it wasn't about making a choice as to whether to wear a mask or not. It was about life and death. It was about 4 years of living in Sarajevo um, without electricity. It was a place where the men and boys in Srebrenica disappeared because they were Muslim. And I suppose that although this week's been hard, I have had that sense of we can get through this. What we're going through in education and health and the world at the moment is difficult because there are a lot of dysregulated people around after the pandemic. And the pandemic came along, and, for many of us who had led a relatively trauma-free life, or difficulty-free life, for many of us, it was difficult. But for those who had already been living a difficult life, so, our families who already were in poverty, already struggling, it was another layer of difficulty. Um, and it's about, I think, us going and looking at the fact that humans have come through difficulty in the past, but we need to take the time to recover. We need to take the time to stop and pause and reflect. And one of the things that I've been doing in school this week, because I came back from Sarajevo and in Bosnia, and it was quite hard because when I planned to go on the trip, I was a secondary teacher, and I think I would have gone into school and done lessons and PowerPoints and assemblies on what I'd experienced, because I think secondary children would have been able to hear and understand the concepts of war and of ethnic cleansing and of trauma over many years. But for primary children, it's harder because they don't have that vocabulary. And the last thing I want to do is cause them more anxiety in a world where at the moment they're pretty anxious. But what I've done this week is taught a lot about Ramadan, about Eid, about faith, about how I introduced two characters, Bobby from the UK, who is a Christian and believes in God and Jesus and has the Bible, and then Taslim, who is also from England, from the UK, and has Allah and Muhammad and the Quran, and one goes to church, one goes to the mosque, and we had these characters, and we talked about the fact that actually their beliefs are very similar. And so that's been, I suppose, my way of trying to take some of what I experienced and learnt into what I do. But equally, I think a lot of the work we've been doing has been around restorative practice and restorative work, and not just with the children, but with the adults in school, in the community. And I think it's about just continuing to model that and to say, you know, we can misunderstand one another, we can fall out, but actually there's always words, there's always time to reflect, and there's always the opportunity to move forward without violence. And I think that's something that is just so essential as part of this work going forward, and remembering Srebrenica and remembering Sarajevo. I'm going to finish. I don't know where I am really. I've gone from feeling very emotional to feeling very stressed this week, I have to say. One day in particular when um, just when you think you've got something sorted and then staffing is tight and then something happens, and there was one day this week where I thought I just can't do this physically, mentally, and I've been irritable and I've been tired and I've been pretty horrible to my husband and family, and that needs to change. But I think part of the change is just me going, okay, this is where I am at the moment. And so many wonderful things as well this week, just like teaching and being with the children, and just huge progress. And the sun's out, and so anyway, I wrote a poem, and I'm just going to finish with that. And this is from something that one of the mothers of Srebrenica said, which is that please write our story. She spoke to us, and I just felt there was this sense of her words needed to be captured. And she said, the one thing, please, you can do is go away and write about what we're telling you that happened here. And so this is the poem. Written, it will be remembered. Lest we forget, so weighty or not. How can we save the words others forgot? Spoken so gently into the wind, drifting away along valleys, through forests, and floating on up to the tops, then over the summit and gone. Talk about us, you say next, not so gently. When you go to your homes, tell your families about us. They're taking our language. Our children are voiceless. But your words may fall on the right ears, of ones who may listen, of ones who may act, of ones who will trust that it happened. And after they listen, then pick up your pen, for written it will be remembered, and shaped into words, forged and never forgotten. Not erased or deleted, but believed and repeated. Till you and I live, and we love and we give our stories and words and our faith once again, in ourselves and in others, our sisters and brothers, so darkness will give way to hope. So that's that. And hope is everything, love is everything, understanding is everything. So that's that. I still am a head teacher. I still have ADHD. I have, I'm tired, but I'm hopeful. Okay, have a, it's 10 minutes, that's 10 minutes. Have a great week. If anything resonates, then get in touch. If not, you don't have to watch. Take care, stay safe, stay well, and thank you.